Now we will spin for each side of the house. Alright, affirmative sides of the house and opposition side of the house. Is JAWA? Can you please raise your hands? Alright, is JAWA is the affirmative sides of the house, is that correct? Okay, so Islamic boarding school of ADIYAH SENGKANG is the opposition sides of the house. Alright, now you will have 30 seconds to introduce yourself from the affirmative sides of the house and then opposition side of the house. Your time starts now.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, honorable judges, esteemed opponents, and distinguished audience. We are the government team strongly standing for today's motion. Kotra Danila Saada as the second speaker, accompanied by my volunteer Keisha Ayu as the first speaker and Naila Atil as the third speaker. Together, we are ready to deliver our logical argument, persuasive reasoning, and strong evidence to our stance. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Honorable judges, respected government team, and all distinguished audiences, we are the opposition team, the delegations of Kutub Pesantren As ADIYAH SENGKANG. I'm Elsa Herinisa as the first speaker, my teammate Fahratul Izzah Hamudar Bintang as the second speaker, and Nurul Wahyu as the third speaker. Thank you so much.
Alright, thank you so much for both teams. You will now have 2 minutes to prepare your arguments. I repeat, 2 minutes to prepare your arguments, starting from now. Time's over. Alright, we will now begin the debate. Affirmative sides of the House, please state your arguments. 4 minutes starting from now.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
judges, esteemed opponents, and distinguished audience, we are the government team strongly standing for today's motion that the filling of threats in Islamic educational environments must be subject to Islamic criminal Sharia penalties, not merely administrative sanction. We believe that this motion would bring more benefit than harm, and it is morally and practically justified. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have the key terms of today's motion. First, tree felling. Tree felling is the act of intentionally cutting down, terminating, or removing trees in the area of an Islamic education institution, whether due to a construction project, land expansion, or other commercial reasons that are not urgent according to Islamic law. And the second is Islamic or Sharia criminal sanction is forms of Islamic legal sanction such as ta'zir, Sharia fines, or religious ethical warnings, which are decided based on the principle of fiqh, maqasidul as-sharia. And the last key terms is administrative sanction is reprimands, warning letters, or like fines issued by institutional or government authorities without direct consideration of Islamic values. Ladies and gentlemen, we do not reject administrative sanction in a general concept. However, in Islamic education, sanction should not stop at the administrative level because revealing touches on spiritual values and moral responsibility in Islam. And the core of the debate today is administrative sanctions are too weak to change behavior and moral awareness. Cutting down trees not only damage the environment, but also betrays good trust, disrupts the order of life, and ignores the principle of Hifdul al-Bi'ah, environmental stewardship, which should be upheld in Islamic educational institutions. Thank you. Next to the speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's emphasize our core issue of this motion. Administrative sanctions are too weak to change behavior and moral awareness. Cutting down trees not only damage the environment, but also betrays trust, disrupts the order of life, and ignores the principle of Hifdul Bi'ah as environmental stewardship, which should be upheld in Islamic educational institutions. And ladies and gentlemen, as what the first speaker explained, let us present our two main reasons why cutting down trees in Islamic educational institutions should be subject to Islamic criminal sanctions. Number one, the environment as a divine trust. Islam emphasizes the responsibility to preserve nature, not exploit it. The cutting down trees without a Sharia complaint purpose is betrayal of our trust, demanding sanction with a spiritual dimension, not merely administrative one. And number two, Sharia sanctions have moral meaning in pesantren. In pesantren environments, administrative rules are often considered foreign in contrast. Sharia sanctions have deeper religious legitimacy and are morally accepted by teachers, students, and administrators. And number two, Maqasid Sharia is the way for protecting the environment for the benefit of the people. Maqasid Sharia, such as Hifdul Nafas, Hifdul Nasl, Hifdul Ma, and many others, requires environmental protection for the safety of life, the continuity of education, and logical balance. The deforestation can threaten lives, such as floods, landladies, and educational well-being, and spiritual connection with nature. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, through this debate, we have clearly shown that tree cutting in Islamic education
Time's over.
institutions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, opposition side of the House, please state your arguments. 4 minutes starting from now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we agree that environmental damage, including the tree cutting in actions that deserve strong criticisms, especially if this happens in Islamic educational environments, which should be role models in practicing the teachings of Hifdul Bi'ah, the protecting the environment, such as Uhwa Hasanah being the good example. Of this motion, the focus on today's debate is not about the whether logging is allowed or not, but also about which legal mechanism is the most legitimate, effective, and appropriate to apply in Islamic educational institutions. Let us make this motion clearly. Tree cutting. In this debate, we refer to the official definitions as stated in number 32 of 2009 Environmental Protections and Management. Tree cutting means any actions that has the potential to damage the ecosystem is exploitative or is done without official permissions, whether for construction and purposes or other land uses. And for Islamic educational environments, including Islamic boarding school and madrasas and Islamic universities that are part of national education system. And for the Sharia criminal law means the punishment based on Islamic law, which is usually enforced by religious authority, not by the legal state. And administrative sanctions we mean here, including warnings, fines, decentralizations, or reforestation obligations related by the government. And we from the opposition team firmly reject these motions because we believe that administrative sanctions are already strong enough to regulate and handle environmental violations as long as they are enforced continuously. And the urgency of these motions is important because more and more people are trying to formalize religious values into form of punishments without understanding the functional context of educational institutions and the existing legal system. If this motion is accepted, Islamic education institutions can be lost their focus on the center of character building. And also, Islamic values that should encourage moral awareness may instead to preserve a legal traits.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we are, as the opposition team, strongly disagree that logging in Islamic education environment must be punished with Sharia criminal law and not national law only. As we come with our issue that even though this idea sounds novel, but our team believes with national only it's enough. As on the law, environmental protections and management 2009 has provided sanctions that much higher than Sharia criminal law idea. We will highlight that the lack lies in the lack of enforcement, not in the lack of law. So instead adding more law on it, the solution is to strengthen this enforcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, and honorable educators, the mechanism we propose is we offer realistic and accountable solution, administrative sanction layer, like level, written reprimand obligation to plant 10 times the trees that is cut down, medium level, freezing for our opposition, postponement of promotion, and summary level, permanent suspension, reporting to the police for criminal action, and clear institution, the establishment of an independent asset, and environment continue, committee in every education institution. The member consists of one field expert, one environmental expert, one legal practitioner, and a person of lecturer and student. Thank you very much.
Now the opposition team, please ask the questions. You will have 1 minute. Time starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen, can the proposition team define operationally only type of tree cut down for any reason and in the context of any type which deserve to be punished by Sharia is cutting down old and dangerous mango trees in the courtyard of the Islamic education institution. The same is seen as cutting down protected forests for housing. Never. And the opposition team never mentioned about how the mechanism and who the actor of your regulation. Thank you very much.
Alright, thank you so much. Now the affirmative team, please answer the question. You will have 2 minutes. Time starts now.
Okay, I will answer your question. Why we choose the Sharia as a solution to solve the perpetrators of tearing fleas? Because why? If we only use the administration sanction, it's not can solve the solution of it to make it because we don't want this case is solved by the administration because administrative sanction in practice have minimal deterrence be taught by the enforcement of Sharia in Islamic educational environments. If occur like that, how can you solve the matter? You haven't clearly tell about it. The opposition team, and I have the title, the description of it. First, enforcement gap. This administrative sanction depends on bureaucracy, external oversight, and resource availability in many cases. Fines or reprimands are easily met or ignored. The perpetrators does not lose morally legitimacy in their community. And the second, irreversible damage. Trees disappear in a minute with ecological effect lasting decades. Administrative matters are technical or financial in nature. Islamic educational institutions penalties are often disproportionate to the long-term damage. Thank you.
Alright, thank you so much. Now the affirmative team can ask a question. 1 minute starting from now.
Okay, I will ask you. If administrative sanctions are effective, why does refiling still occur? And still there are perpetrators that still not deterred. This is the weak solution to solve, isn't it?
Alright, thank you so much. Now, President side of the House, please answer the question. 2 minutes starting from now.
Okay, thank you for the question from the government team. The question is how the administrative is effective and why administrative sanction is effective if the cases still occur. Okay, the question will answer by our first speaker and the second speaker.
Okay, it's not because of the lack of the law, it's because the lack of enforcement. That's why we want to strengthen it by our solutions that will be stand by our third speaker.
And legal basis and autonomy. The first one is foundation authority and educational institution manager. Based on law number 16/2001, concerning foundation and government regulation number 4/2020, the foundation has full authority to make and enforce internal regulation. The statute of educational institution gives a mandate to form a special committee, and the authority to carry out administrative sanction is sourced from the civil relationship between the manager and the institution citizens. The Ethics and Environment Committee has authority based on a multi-layer administrative sanction authority, like level, authority unite, a department leader, basic, structural authority in the organization, and maximum limit, written reprimand, 10 times reflecting obligation, and medium level, authority, Ethics and Environment Committee, basic, decree on the establishment of a committee from the institution leaders, authority, freezing of position, 3 after 6 months, postponement of promotion, 1 period, administrative fine, maximum 3 times replanting cost, and high level, authority, institution leader, rector, director, chairman, basic ethics and environmental committee recommendation, and authority, permanent staff, reported to the police for a criminal action.
Thank you so much. Affirmative side of the House, please stage your rebuttals. 3 minutes starting from now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Islam places strong emphasis on the prohibition of environmental destruction. The Prophet Muhammad SAW even forbade the cutting down of trees during times of war. Therefore, in a place dedicated to religious education, such as violation should be taken seriously from a Sharia perspective. And ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about a real deterrent effect, not just proof of money transfer. And administrative sanction pay for today's problems, but Sharia sanction educates tomorrow's generation.
because settlements state like that. It means that if legal safeguarding within Islamic education institution is not only met with administrative sanction, does it not imply we are treating the made to Allah created as a minor issues? How can it make environmental support a holistic Islamic education rooted in a massive balance? We read that the opposition team claim that Shari'i punishment is too hard or disproportionate. On the contrary, considering the immense value Islam places on nature, trees being a symbol of life, mercy, and trust from good to human, can the action of deforestation should be classified as a moral and spiritual crime because its glory forbids spreading corruption on earth after it has been set right. If illegal degrading is met only with fines or warnings, it undermines the Islamic principle of justice and environmental. Is the opposition team truly comfortable with saying that harming the environmental in Islamic education is forgivable with nothing more than a warning letter? Where is the educational value and the strength of the Sharia if ecological harms goes unpunished?
Sharia sanctions are instead to educate spirituality. Sharia punishments is understood not only as retribution, but also as a moral warning so that violence are not repeated. Thank you.
Alright, thank you so much. Now, opposition side of the House, please reply to the rebuttals. 4 minutes, 30 seconds, starting from now.
Okay, thank you for the rebuttal from the opposition team. And first of all, I want to highlight that you cannot state it about what the Prophet Muhammad said because it's forbidden from the regulations. It means that you are already out from the regulations. And I will highlight that the main purpose of education institutions is educate, guide, and disciple or tarbiyah, not to punish or to criminalize or ukubah, and adopted the punitive criminalistic approaches fundamentally against these noble features. A comp-centered movement that growing rapidly is the real proof that environmental awareness and pro-environmental behavior can be effectively cultivated through education rather than integrations of environmental fit or fikul bi'ah into the curriculum. The habituations, clean and green living, as well as projects on waste management and organic farming have proven effectively in sustainability and transforming students' behavior, turning pesantren into a kind of mini correctional institutions and complete with criminal justice procedures would undermine their image as nurturing and caring educational institutions. And we will highlight the systematic implications of the motions for the national legal orders. Implementing a Sharia criminal system even within a limited jurisdictions would create a dangerous legal dualism. It could violate one of the main pillars of the rule of law, the principle of equality before the law as guaranteed by the Constitution. This would open a Pandora's box if trilogy in Islamic education environment can be punished under Sharia law. Why not theft, fights, or other violations? It could lead to demands for broader applications of religious criminal law. Ultimately, threatening the unity and supremacy of the national criminal justice system, legal certainty will be disrupted and potential jurisdictional conflicts between education and state courts will become very likely.
And we must understand the serious consequences of legal dualism. Legal dualism means that two different systems of law exist to try to regulate the same act. In this case, tree cutting or logging trees with two different punishments. For example, under the National Environment Law number 32 of 2009, illegal trees cutting can already be punished with the administrative fines, environmental restorations, and even imprisonment. Now, if the pesantrens also introduce the Shari'i criminal law, such as the ta'zir from the Kiai, we will have two parallel punishments for one's offense. Like if it can create confusions like which law is superior and who has the final authority, the state court or religious leaders. What if the two contradict each other. If we district courts order to replenishing fines, while the QIE give moral and public punishments, the offenders could be punished twice, or worse, appeal to one system to escape to others. And we already have a strong national criminal law that we don't need to adapt a Sharia criminal law. Our team believes that adding new Sharia criminal law on top of existing system is necessary.
Honorable educators, in Indonesia, legal country, environmental violations are handled by national law. Sharia is present in Islamic boarding school as an internal policy that shapes moralizational Asian recovery, not replacing state crimes. Logging tree in educational environment, small, medium scale, environment violation in line with administrative sanction. The Sharia crime for this case is our panel, and in practice there is no judicial forum in Indonesia. If you say Sharia must be present, we agree as a principle that animates discipline and recovery, not as a counter-criminal regime. Weak, administrative force permit fines for such even criminal if safer. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Now, opposition side of the House, please state your rebuttals. 3 minutes starting from now.
Okay, I'll give the rebuttal for the government team. And the government team raised the narrations about love meanings is misleading. Our national system has already provided a comprehensive and multi-layered set of sanctions for environment. Law number 32 of 2009 on environmental protections and management not only regulates administrative sanctions but also criminal penalties for serious violations. The administrative sanctions themselves can be very strict, such as government corrections, which can stop all activities, and or revocations of permits, which can close business immediately. Moreover, for more serious cases of forest destructions, Indonesia has law number 18 of 2013 on the prevention and eradication of forest destructions. This law provides for extremely strict sanctions, including minimum and maximum prisons, sentences as well as fines teaching billions of rupiah. And even for corporations, this problem doesn't lie in the lack of law, but in the lack of enforcement. The logical solution is to strengthen the existing monitoring and law enforcement mechanism rather than creating a new system that will overlap and cause confusion.
And also, honorable educators, the government team said that the administrative is weak. Precisely, the administrative is more agile than the Sharia court route, which doesn't even have a mechanism in Indonesia. Solve the school logging tree case just in 2 weeks with a fine and reforestation obligation. The Sharia criminal mechanism, how long will it take? And how and who is the authority? Not clear. And how the mechanism and who the actor of their regulation. Thank you very much.
And also, our argument is about equality, the heart of any modern justice system. Article 27, paragraph 1 of the 1935. The Constitution says that all citizens shall be equal before the law, and governments shall be required to uphold the law and government without exceptions. So this article guarantees that legal equality for everyone in Indonesia citizens. No one is abused the law, and no group should have their own separate versions of the law. Thank you very much.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I will answer the question. Honorable judges, let's look at why our Sharia laws is better than the opponent team. First, we will apply restorative ta'zir or mandatory reforms or other types of community service. Second, educational proposition by taking classes or doing environmental assignment. Third, the last degree is disciplinary panel mechanism in our side and result that to develop the adab is more likely to happen.
And ladies and gentlemen, I'll answer the question about mechanism. Shariaization has proportional and acceptable forms such as restorative ta'zir and ecological compensation. And ladies and gentlemen, let us break down our proportional and acceptable forms. Restorative ta'zir, mandatory replanting of a number of trees, community service, or participation in conservation programs. No, thank you. And then ecological conservation. It is a competition based on habitat restoration, not just money. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the opposition team, are you willing to see students being told that destroying nature is just a cost and then can be paid?
Okay, I will explain and state the answer on my speech. More to be exactly, is we strongly standing for today's motion because according to Qaidul Fiqhiyah, thank you, no thank you. According to Qaidul Fiqhiyah, that we have is relevant to the context of non-Sharia tree filling in Islamic educational. The Qaidul of Fiqhiyah is La dalal wa la dirar. It is not permissible to harm oneself and it is not permissible to harm others. Main and relevant, cutting down trees without urgent, it can cause environmental, no thank you.
You have to accept.
I will.
So, as we know that Indonesia is unitary state under the rules of the law. So, can the government team show which article in national law opens legal space for the applications of Sharia punishments in educational institutions?
And also, they cannot answer who is the judge, how to prove his mistake, where to appeal if something goes wrong, and how you combine ta'zir in Islamic education environment. Thank you very much.
We are not purpose, not answer your question that say that who the judges will punish us. We now standing in the MTKN debate. We talk between a Muslim. So we don't need the enforcement to judge it. But we as Muslim, between the Muslim and each other Muslim, can tell that is the strong action that is sin. I will continue my Sharia point of view. Meaning and relevance, cutting down trees without urgent need can cause environmental damage, reduce clean air, and even flooding or drought. These fall under the category of causing harm, which is prohibited by these rules.
And ladies and gentlemen, we also know that pesantrens are not tech offices. We educate souls. Administrative sanction only temporarily change actions, but Sharia actions from heart.
Alright, thank you so much. Now, affirmative sides of the house, please state your summary. 1 minute starting from now.
And ladies and gentlemen, can administrative law have a greater deterrent effect than Sharia law? Okay, I admit, theoretically it's possible. But it is happen if only administrative enforcement is sure, if only administrative enforcement is swift and consistent. But reality shows that this is rarely achieved. Sharia provides additional moral and community dimension that enhance the effectiveness of prevention. Why? Because local politics, corruption, reluctance to take action against educational institutions, and limited resources make the certainty of punishment law a friend's passive little risk. If the state can guarantee enforcement, it is okay. But in fact, no. So we need a moral dimension of Sharia so that it's not just paid and then forgotten. Thank you.
Thank you so much. No opposition side of the house, please state your summary. 1 minute starting from now.
Honorable judges and ladies and gentlemen, allow me to close by reaffirming the core of our position. Logging tree in the Islamic education environment is a serious problem, but the solution doesn't need to use Sharia punishment. Why? Because our national law is complete. There are administrative sanctions in the form of permits, fines, reforestation, and even criminal if the case is serious. While Sharia criminal law that is irrelevant and unrealistic in Indonesia. In this way, the law remains fair, the end remains protected, and Islamic education environment remain a moral example. Therefore, we ask the jury to choose the opposition team. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for such an excellent debate. Alright, now both teams can go back to their seat. The debate is over. While we wait for the scoring. Alright, for both teams, please go up on the stage. The motion of this debate is hate speech in the name of religion must be considered a violation of Sharia law, not merely a violation of state law. I repeat, hate speech in the name of religion must be considered a violation of Sharia law, not merely a violation of state law. Alright, we will speak for each side of the house. Alright, affirmative sides of the house and opposition sides of the house. West Nusa Tenggara, can you please raise your hands? Alright, thank you so much. West Nusa Tenggara is the opposition side of the house and Islamic boarding school of ADIYAH SENGKANG is the affirmative sides of the house. Alright, we will now begin the debate. Alright, for both teams, you have 30 seconds to introduce yourself. 30 seconds to introduce yourself, starting from the affirmative sides of the house. Your time starts now.
We believe that every success, it must come with a dream. Before that, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone and honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce our teammate for today's English debate competition. I am as the first speaker, Abdurrahman Sabri, and M. Irno Chadiam as the second speaker, and Ifta Al-Fikri Irsa as the third speaker of this debate. And we are from the Persian team, and we from the delegation from Pondok Pesantren as ADIYAH SENGKANG, and we are ready to join this debate competition.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Assalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, amma ba'du. Good morning, honorable adjudicators, esteemed opponents, and all the debaters around the nation. We are the delegation from the West Nusa Tenggara. We come from Pesantren Alam Sayang Ibu. And we really happy and we are really ready to join the final session of the English debate in MKKI in ADIYAH Wajur. Thank you, and we are really opposing this motion. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alright, thank you so much. Now we will begin the debate. You have 2 minutes to prepare your arguments. I repeat, you have 2 minutes to prepare your arguments. Starting from now. Alright, times is over. We will now begin the debate. Now, affirmative sides of the House, please state your arguments. You have 4 minutes starting from now.
The Honorable Judges, ladies and gentlemen, our motion today, hate speech, behalf on region, should be considered a shared violation in national, not national, or firmly, merely not national only. So we firmly agree with these two motions. Firstly, let's be clear on our terms. Hate speech, behalf on religion, is every expression, written, spoken, or action that was religious authority, symbol, or arguments incite, provoke, or spread hatred or discrimination or violence against other individuals or group based on their identity. It used based on their religion, not others, shall be considered as a Sharia violation. What we mean here is not just an option, but a strong claim that is Sharia violation that have morals and spirituality attached, not national only. Because the current law is already failed and have gaps, because it just refers to the positive law in Indonesia and the actors of KHP and UIIT, and our solution is the best. Why? Because based on pure research, Center the Muslim of Indonesia prioritize religion 98%. So that's why, because the current condition, we need religious approach. So with the problem limitation of this program, the actors in this, it just towards Muslim to Muslim, non-Muslim to the Muslim, it just have the connection with Muslim. And the first, I already defined the motion, and the second speaker will emphasize and explain our solution, and the third speaker will explain our mechanism and the advantage if we use this proposal.
I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, the state law is already contains a provision against the hate speech itself. However, data show that the cases of the religious hate speech continue to rise. It means that existing regulations have not been effective in creating deterrence or the protection for the society. Could you imagine that, ladies and gentlemen? Indonesia, it's Indonesia, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we propose strengthen this law. That was why we propose to strengthen this law. We are also recognizing it such as the action as the violation under the Sharia law, not replacing any state law by but we are want to reinforcing it. Firstly, ladies and gentlemen, in the principle of democracy, the Sharia, hate speech, the measures of the three essential of the goal protecting these values can be accepted from the all of the fight for the humanity. First of it is the protecting dignity and protecting the religion itself, and ladies and gentlemen, protecting the life. And secondly, ladies and gentlemen, we propose the hybrid model that the legal propose to continue under the penal code, ITE, and transition law. It can be run for the moral religious function. The impact is clear, no longer text, and its value can be more heard on all of the people, ladies and gentlemen.
It opened up to me in our mechanism, the honorable judges and ladies and gentlemen. What we propose is a dual recognition system. The national continues to prosecute hate speech through existing criminal law or ITL law. Meanwhile, the Sharia Council, under the Ministry of Religious Affairs and in cooperation with MUI Division Fatwa, issues an ethical classification declaring such acts as haram or contrary to Islam conduct. This process doesn't create a new punishment, but guides enforcement with moral clarity and inform public institutions, religious schools, and communities that religious insult has spiritual consequence, not just a legal one. By doing this, we don't polish belief, but we protect respect. We reduce religious tension before it turns into violence, and we help moral ones that law alone cannot reach. This motion creating justice, but that both effective and creating meaningful. Thank you very much. We are proud to be promotion team because the motion is solution.
Thank you so much. Now, opposition side of the House, please state your arguments. 4 minutes starting from now.
Thank you for the occasion so that I can speak here as the opposition team. Okay, but first thing first, I very agree with all your clarification and all your definition that hate speech is an act that mocks and insults any in the name of religion like fitnah, namimah, gibah, and so. And also, we want to clarify that Sharia violation is an act that we can categorize as maksiat based on Islamic law and consequence based on moral, ta'zir, and ta'dib. And also, we agree that state law violation is an act that categorized as violating civil and criminal law. But we are strongly opposing this motion because the state should still be based on national law, not religion. This creates justice, fairness among the society and the nation. That is, which is the nation is plural. And also, Sharia law is irrelevant because national law itself. Thank you. Yes.
But the honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, we in here will not propose the Sharia law to become a punishment, but we propose to become a dual recognition. So it means that the Sharia law in here to recognize, to classify this as speech, not give the punishment.
Also, the motion stated considered as a Sharia violation, not punished with Sharia violation. Thank you very much.
Okay, I agree with that. But what I say is Sharia law is irrelevant because national law itself is enough just by strengthen it without any doctrine of Sharia. Moral is the problem of the object law itself, not the regulation. Thank you.
Okay, my beloved brother, so I want to tell you why did the hate speech is considered only state law? Why it must be based on state revising or improving the electronic information and transaction law, and the criminal code is more relevant than bringing religion into the legal system.
Yeah.
Yes.
You say before, who determine? You already stated in delivering ideas, who determine is the classification based on who determine is the Ministry of Religious Affairs collaboration with MUI Fatwa Division. So you already stated, but you haven't clear to state it that.
Okay, thank you for your interruption. But what we need to emphasize here is that Sharia law processing system doesn't have a clear standard. As we all know, Sharia law comes from the Quran, and we cannot fully actionize the Quran. But what we can do is we can interpret it, and interpretation between individuals among individuals differ from each and other. And other than that, why national law must be used is because our ideology, Pancasila, the third verse said unity of Indonesia, and national law promotes just that. And because of this, we are trying to promote justice in a plural society. Using Sharia law to resolve this will only create injustice between one religion to another religion. And this is why we strongly oppose this law. Thank you.
Alright, thank you so much. Opposition side of the house, please ask a question. 1 minute starting from now.
Okay, thank you for the chance. Now, how did you solve the hate speech problem that occurs between two different religions if you only use Sharia law? Because it is impossible that the hate speech problem only comes from one religion and or internal affairs only. It must come from two different religions, whether it's Islam to Christian or Christian to Buddhism or others. Thank you.
Alright, now affirmative side of the house, please answer the question 2 minutes from now.
The honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, let me explain that what they try to analyze. First thing first, we are delivering in our ideas that we have the problem limitation, and you already accepted our problem limitation. We didn't ask, we don't discuss about the beyond of the Muslim. We are the Muslim towards the Christianity or the Christianity towards the Muslim. Because why we stand on this? Because the majority of Indonesia is a Muslim, so that's why we limited this problem. And this motion stated considered as a Sharia law. And even if it wasn't true or even it didn't make sense, the Sharia principle it's aligned with all of the Indonesian people. Like in Aceh itself, it doesn't consider what's the religion. Even its Christianity, it still can consider it's a Sharia religion because he already recognized the with the locate in the Aceh, he firmly already agree with the regulation in there. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
Alright, thank you so much. Now, affirmative sides of the house, please ask a question 1 minute from now.
The honorable judges and ladies and gentlemen, the opposition team already stated before, the national law is relevant, the national law is enough, but they don't give the exact which part in national law that fulfill to clearly this behalf, the hate speech behalf in the name of religion. This just say this is relevant, this is fulfilled, but they don't give the exact which part, which national law, which enactment, also on. Thank you.
And also, ladies and gentlemen, and their statement in delivering idea, what they say in here, they say not justice for the other religion. They are already agree with our definition. Could you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, all of the statement from the first speaker, they agree with our solution. And after that, ladies and gentlemen, in here, they still recognize this one. Maybe they are talking about the other religion. No, we are delimited. After that, they are agree with it.
Time's over.
Thank you so much for the attention.
Now, opposition side of the house, please answer the question 2 minutes from now.
Okay. Thank you for the answer. Now, what we want to emphasize here is that hate speech happens between two religions or more. One of the real results, one of the real examples is when Ahok gave a hate speech to the Muslim community at the year 2018. From that case, your statement that it cannot involve other religion is irrelevant according to this example, according to Ahok example. So you don't really get your point because hate speech can't happen between one believer and other believers of the same religion. Because if it happens like that, then one of them must be a blasphemer. And that is why hate speech can only occur between two different religions, between two different followers, or between one follower and a certain community.
Okay, I want to clarify that what I agreed before is only about hate speech, Sharia violation, and state law violation. We never say that we agree about that hate speech only happens between one religion. Hate speech happens between other and other religion. Thank you.
Alright, thank you so much. Now, affirmative sides of the house, please state your rebuttals 3 minutes from now.
The honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, there's missing points on the opposition team. What will I do in this giving rebuttal? First thing first, I will explain the legal flow of the nation or national law and the empirical value. And the third one is the official mission. The opposition team has place all of their faith in our current state, laws suggesting they are sufficient to solve the problems of religious hate speech. They ask us to simply enforce the law better, but of the law itself. Its team legal institutions like ELBI and the Institution for Criminal Justice Reform ICGR have constantly criticized Article like 156A of the criminal law and can be stretched to mean anything. Instead of providing justice, they have become weapons to oppress minorities and silence critics. Secondly, let's see the result on the ground. The proof is in the numbers. The Satara Institute 2022 report recorded 198 decanted or religious freedom violation. What's worse, the record shows that state officials were often informed. This is not a system that's working, it's a system that's part of the problem. And lastly, the failure is not secret, it's even admitted by the top government of Mahmoud MD, a top government minister, openly admitted that the AT law had serious problems, that he created a special team to review it.
Ladies and gentlemen, opponents team try to make confusing because they say our proposal will overgeneralize, but we already mentioned in the earlier idea, we don't want to make a punishment itself. So ladies and gentlemen, our proposal gives a more stronger idea, that is make the deterrent effect that feel reality on the heart of the people, ladies and gentlemen. Of our relation, because we all know that the most of the people scared, afraid, and the stigma about the consequences of the day after the end. This, ladies and gentlemen, all the people in Indonesia who have religion is already know about this. Why this effective? Indonesia, we see that our research for global from the PIE research on the 2024, they show that 98% that Muslim in Indonesia was the #1 in the belief in the humanity of the God itself. Ladies and gentlemen, so our proposal is to give something that is like punishment after that done. It's not like that, because we want to resolve it from the hurt itself. But also the mechanism, if they want to say the enforcement is law is lack, but they doesn't ever mention what the mechanism they want to give.
The honorable judges and ladies and gentlemen, there are missing points from the opponent's team. Why is it? Firstly, a couple response to this. Firstly, where the question, when they ask about which part of national law that can fulfill this part, that can fulfill hate speech behalf on religion or in the name of religion, but they just, it's relevant, it can fulfill, but which part is national law? Thank you very much.
Alright, thank you so much. Now, opposition sides of the House, please reply to the rebuttals. 4 minutes, 30 seconds starts now.
Thank you for the chance. Thank you for my brother. So here I want to emphasize what we mean. So state law or the national law must be the main law to regulate this problem, to resolve this problem. Therefore, we do not deny the religion, because let the religion be the moral base. But moral base can be get from many sources, not only religion. That's what we mean.
Okay, and other than that, what we want to emphasize here is that Sharia law processing doesn't have a clear standard, and almost all hate speech problem comes from two different religions. If you only use one law from one religion, how do you plan to resolve that? No, thank you. How do you plan to resolve that problem if you only use one law from one religion? Don't the other opposition will feel, no thanks, will feel discriminated against that law? And I also know that Islam is the majority of religion in Indonesia. No, thank you. But still, Sharia law doesn't have a standardized processing system, and this will result in inconsistency and subjectivity. Please. Yes.
The honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, they were talking about there's different legislation cases, but what they never provide to us, they never put the data of the cases of what the risk of the different religions, the cases of the hate speech itself.
And also, they haven't fully which part the national law, how they already stated the religious cannot, but how international law can fulfill this hate speech behalf of religion? How?
And also, if you want to strengthen the
Time's
enforcement, what
over.
the enforcement you want to strengthen?
Okay, so the religious hate speech, religious-based hate speech is included in the constitution about nation law itself, in the constitution about the information and the transaction, the IT constitution.
Yes, and other than that, we must emphasize here, we must tell you that there are four elements that builds our current national law. First things first is our ideology, which is Pancasila, and one verse of the Pancasila is the unity of Indonesia. And the hate speech problem will of course cause unity between believers of the six official religions in Indonesia. And the second element that makes our current national law is the 1945 National Constitutional Law. And the third one is custom principles. And the fourth one, the last one, is religious principles. So we are not denying the religion, but the national law itself already included religion in the national law itself. So we are not denying your claim, but the national law itself supports tolerance among religions. And as the third sila said, unity of Indonesia. And the first sila also said, there is only one God. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Now, opposition sides of the House, please state your rebuttals. 3 minutes starting from now.
Okay, thank you for the occasion. Now I will tell you a case that the hate speech already happened between religions. You know, there is a public figure of the Muslims, Ustad Abdul Somad, says something that is inappropriate for other religion. But we don't see any effectiveness of Sharia that can prevent that from happening, because the Ustad can protect behind the Sharia itself. He say that is da'wah, but it is insulting other religion. So how does the Sharia law can prevent this from happening? And also, the Sharia law have so many multiple interpretation. So how is it going to be implemented? Who has okay, I know the minister of the religion has the authority, but how is it going to be implemented between many religions in Indonesia? The exclusivity of Sharia law are exclusive, meanwhile positive law or national law are inclusive. Thank you. That's all.
All right, thank you so much. Now the affirmative sides of the House, please reply to the rebuttals. 4 minutes and 30 seconds starting from now.
The honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, there are missing points against in the opposition team when they stated that about the data of Ustaz Abdul Somad. They never provide what year, where's the data come from, and there is no exact data that you provide, because in the debating, if you want to provide something, you have to say exactly and comprehensively data, and also there is no clear statement about what Ustaz Abdul Somad said in your argument. And ladies and gentlemen, I have few rebuttal for them. And the opposition team always talking about there's no Sharia principle, but let's be honest to ourselves. In the middle of scientists, what's the real things that we are afraid of? Is it the police letter or branded as a sinner and destroy of religion from the surrounding environment? The answer is clear. In Indonesia, social sanctions and moral is far more effective. In fact, Indonesia, one of the realest countries in the world, global survey from Pew Research Center 2023 shows that 98% Muslim Indonesia shows that religion is one of the most important in Indonesia. And ladies and gentlemen, and we have the evidence. Look at the fatwa that give an impact when MUI stated that fatwa number 24, 2017, that banning the spread of hoax and hate speech on social media. The fatwa directly became a moral guideline for millions of Indonesians. It served as a reminder of sin and spiritual responsibility. And if you want to talk about the Ahok cases that happened in 27 September 2016, Ahok speech on Pramuka Island, Seribu Island, mentioned being lied to using Al-Maida 51 in the context. And after that, in 11 October 2016, MUI issued a religious opinion and attitude which considered a statement as insult of the Quran. And in 9 May 2017, North Jakarta District Court declared Ahok guilty and sentenced to 2 years prison. And ladies and gentlemen, continue to the next speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, we acknowledge that the state law is already good. Yeah, they are already good. But the hate speech case is still increasing up. That's why after this all, they doesn't give the mechanism that is how to implement it with the accept regulation. Accept regulation, ladies and gentlemen. In the Maqasid Sharia, in our team in here, Maqasid Sharia, the core of the objective of the Sharia, preventing harm to life, dignity, and religious promote this framework, universal, strengthening the religious boundaries, and provide a strong moral foundation that complements the legal measures. Based on reviews that the cases of the hate speech, 216 incidents in 2024, as Tara Institute, these cases show that 3 other gaps show that legal deterrence alone cannot address the underlying moral dimension of this issue. It means that this regulation, this still hard if they are doesn't using the morality.
The honorable judges and ladies and gentlemen, all of the people can bring a concept, but in this debate, we not only talk about the concept, but also the mechanism to apply it. The honorable judges and ladies and gentlemen, here is our practical implementation pathway of our mechanism. Firstly, localized legal enforcement. This pathway uses legal power to enforce rules. This provides a direct on-the-ground legal mechanism for addressing specific hate speech behalf on religion. And secondly, religious decrees, fatwa, MUI, division fatwa, classifying hate speech behalf on religion or sins or moral wrongs. This powerfully shaping public behavior and morality within the community. And thirdly, the hybrid institutional collaboration. This involves a collaborative system where the national manage criminal prosecution while religious authorities handle moral and community sanction. And the last one is education outreach. This is the preventive strategy. It involves integrating prohibition against hate speech behalf on religion into religious curriculum, Friday sermons, and study group. This method works to shape social norms from the ground up, making the community less receptive to harmful behavior. Thank you very much. We are proud to be proposition team because the motion is solution.
Alright, thank you so much. Now, for the sides of the House, please state the summary of your arguments. 1 minute, starting from now.
After a long debate, we finally come to the conclusion. The honorable judges and ladies and gentlemen, our team already absolutely won the debate because one fundamental reasoning, our team gives applicable solution that very clear. Throughout this debate, we on-site proposition just provide the firm way through the exact mechanism to solve today's problem. A couple response to this. First step, localized legal enforcement to addressing specific hate speech. We give the exact mechanism. And secondly, second step, religious decrees, hybrid institutional collaboration, and fourthly, education and outreach. So, our proposal is simple, yet powerfully. By reclassifying it as a violation of Sharia, we ensure stronger justice and greater acceptance. So we invite the honorable judges and ladies and gentlemen, if you care about this model, for this reason, we are proud to be proposition team from Islamic boarding school to the world because the motion is solution.
Alright, thank you so much. Now, opposition side of the House, please state the summary of your arguments. 1 minute, starting from now.
Okay, so let me summarize our debate today, our motion today. State law is inclusive. It's for all citizens. Meanwhile, Sharia only gives resolvents from one point of view. And it tends to lead to discrimination. While on the other hand, national law provides a holistic approach. And this aligns with Indonesia's community, which is a multi-religion and multicultural society, because religious principles are one of the things that made our current national law. And because of this, we strongly oppose the motion. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is the end of the debate. Thank you so much for both teams. Now you can go back to your seat while we wait for the scoring. Alright, for the next and last debaters for the motion of this debate is the felling of trees in Islamic educational environments must be punished according to Islamic law, not merely subject to administrative sanction. I repeat, the motion is the felling of trees in Islamic educational environments